Now, for this Doors Open, we want to take you behind the scenes of some of our favorite and most beloved locations, especially with the circumstances that have happened the past couple years. Many of our spaces have had to have more rules and regulation about where visitors can come by. So we thought it would be a great idea to show you some of those spaces, show you some new perspectives of some of the kind of hidden spaces we have on site. So take a peek at Behind the Barricades with Fanshawe Pioneer Village. Hello everyone! Now for Behind the Barricades, we want to show you a space that no one is ever allowed to go to. So this is truly a Behind the Barricades. Now this is an exhibit that was put on many years ago, but the thing is, it's still here. We're no longer allowed to show it to visitors because the way to get to it is no longer accessible. It's very interesting, very old stairs. But I thought for today we'd show it for you this way through our virtual Doors Open. This exhibit is called Agriculture After 1867, the Four Seasons. And so what it is as you travel along our display, you're gonna see a variety of tools and farm equipment that are all based in their seasons. So beside me right here, I've got winter, but I'm gonna take you around through all four seasons to see what some older farm equipment used to look like back in the day. Let's get to it. So here we see some of our winter exhibit. Now winter was the slowest season for farmers. Much of their time was spent on the daily year-round tasks of tending livestock and otherwise maintaining the farm. This season was also the time in which preparations were made for the following spring. Another winter task was preparing seed for the following year. Fanning mills used a series of screens to separate grain from unwanted seeds that were inevitably mixed in with the grain during the harvest. They cleaned and separated grain was then bagged and set aside for spring. Here we have the spring section. Now spring was a very important part of the farm because of the fact that this is when you're doing your plowing as well as your seeding. Now in the early part of the 19th century, this is a very labor-intensive item because of the fact that it's all generally done by hand on small plows. However, by the 1860s, draft horses are being used, and you're starting to get larger and larger equipment used, such as these pieces right here, that are then able to do a lot of stuff at once. So you're starting to see that speeding. We also have our example of plows in this corner. So you can see a number of types used for going through varieties of different soils, as well as either hand done, such as these ones where you can see you're pushing with your hand here to get the job done. But this is a very long, arduous process. Now over here is where we're starting to get to summer. So at this point, the exhibit starts talking about the fact that most farmers are mixed farmers. So which is shown by these two boxes right here. These are for honeybees and beekeeping, as well as behind them are for honey extracting. But we also have beside those as well a variety of cream, milk testers, milk cans, as well as your farm equipment to continue making sure that your fields are going well and that things are going well with that. We even have a rake in the corner, just right there, to show all the different things that are happening in the summertime. The summer is all about maintaining your fields and getting it ready so you can have a bountiful harvest in the fall. Now over here for our exhibit is fall. Fall is an incredibly important season for farmers, as this is when you're doing your threshing, this is when you're getting your fields and your crops and your bounties all ready. So it's very important that this is done well. That also means it's a very busy time of year as you are working very hard to make sure that everything is getting up and getting harvested at its absolute peak season, making sure that it's not too dry, not too wet, and doing absolute the best you can to make sure your crops are coming in at their best and peak quality. I want to say a big thank you very much on joining me in Agriculture After 1867, the Four Seasons. I hope you enjoyed this little sneak peek behind the scenes of an old exhibit we still have around. Yes.
Well, here I am in the parlour of Peel House, a part of the building that visitors don't usually get to see more than a view through the screened doorway. And it's a great opportunity to show you some of the interesting things in this room which throw light on aspects of the Peel family's life. Even in Peel's time, this room was probably an adult-only zone of the house. The parlour, typically at the front of the building, tended to have the best furniture, the best curtains, the most comfortable and elegant style that the family could afford. afford, and therefore children were usually only allowed in here on special occasions when visitors were present and so on. What we have in the room at present is very elegant furniture, splendid curtains that were actually kindly donated to me by some of my lace maker friends, so the curtains are particularly splendid on the side of the house that overlooked Richmond Street, so that passers-by could admire the taste of the Peel family. This room also probably served as a little home office for Mr. Peel. On the table we have spectacles, inkwells and a ledger, a book from which he could calculate the cost of materials for his stonemasonry business and therefore know how many hours of work and went into the production of a piece of cut stone and what to charge his customers. He would have needed a little bit of peace and quiet here to do that, I think. We have a particularly splendid Chickering piano, which I imagine would, had it really belonged to the Peels, wouldn't have got a lot of use since they were so devoted to the visual arts, to painting and sculpture. On the other hand, there are features of the room that suggest ladies' handiwork, such as the picture composed of ruffled fabrics and yarn in various flower copies, less repelling than the floral wreaths made of human hair, which have sometimes been on display in this room. One interesting item appears to have no connection with the Peel family, and that is this beautiful little Parian bust of Queen Alexandra. And I think the reason this has been placed in the Peel parlour is because when Paul met and eventually married French-Danish art student Isolde Verdier, he also acquired a Danish mother-in-law. Madame Verdier ran a high-end antique shop in Copenhagen. Princess Alexandra, who had married Queen Victoria's son and heir, Edward Albert, was a princess from Denmark, and on a visit back to her native country, she fell into the clutches of Madame Verdier. Madame Verdier had in her antique shop paintings by her son-in-law Paul, and somehow Madame Verdier persuaded Princess Alexandra, as she then was, to buy one of Paul's paintings. Typically, for members of the British royal family, it was a painting which included a dog, a small boy and a dog, very much the kind of subject that Paul enjoyed painting, and I think the painting was called Two Friends. More recently, I was happy to find out that the painting is still in the British Royal Collection and is housed at Sandringham Palace. So next time I'm in England, I hope to check it out and see if that is actually true. So that explains why Princess Alexandra has an honoured place in the Peel drawing room.
Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed Behind the Barricade at Fanshawe Pioneer Village and have a wonderful doors open. Take care. Goodbye.